Now, as exciting as it might be to see the same athletes competing in both the elite individual and team competitions at Wodapalooza, not everyone is happy about it. Do you want to know why? This year, we see Wodapalooza making a significant change to its elite individual and team competition. No longer a 3-day event, it will now be 4 days, 2 days for the elite individual and 2 days for the elite teams. Now, what was the reason for this change? Well, the idea was that it would actually allow athletes to compete as both an individual and as part of a team if that's what they wanted to do. So it's an interesting strategy, and it's one that really seems to have paid off if we just look at some of the athletes that have confirmed to be there as both individuals and to be part of a team. For example, you've got people like Brent Fikowski and Pat Vellner. They'll be there as individuals, but then they're also teaming up with Jeff Adler and making a team between the three of them. Likewise, while Ricky will be there as an individual, he's also teaming up with Tim Paulson and Matt DeLugos. The Panchek brothers will be teaming up, so that will be fun, but we're also going to get to see Saxon take on the competition as an individual. And speaking of brothers, don't forget that the Smith brothers are also going to be there. And let's not forget some of the incredible ladies that are going to be present at Wodapalooza. For example, we're going to have a team of Annie, Catherine, and Mal. Or what about Brooke Wells, Amanda Barnhart, and Christy O'Connell? Let's not forget Sarah Sigmund's daughter. She's going to be there as an individual and as well on a team. Carrie Pierce is coming out of retirement and teaming up with Ariel Lowen and Alex Gazan. And talking of coming out of retirement, did someone say that Rich Froning is going to be there? And honestly, I could just go on and on listing off names of incredible athletes and incredible teams that have been put together this year for Wodapalooza. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty excited to see what these teams and athletes can do. So at this point, you might be wondering, well, this strategy definitely seems to be paying off. We're getting incredible athletes coming to compete as individuals, to compete as a team, or to do both the individual and team competition. The strategy seems to have worked on the part of Wodapalooza and what they wanted to pull off. So why are people unhappy? Well, having spoken to some athletes that are competing in the elite divisions, they're a little bit disappointed about something. Because Wodapalooza is an experience. It's a competition that has a reputation for just being this unique event. Great workouts, an incredible atmosphere that has to be experienced to be understood. And that is why so many in the CrossFit community are happy to travel. They want to go to Wodapalooza. They want to experience this unique event, or even why so many go back year after year. But as I already said, this year, things have changed. But one thing that hasn't changed is the price. Because yes, it is an experience, but it's not a cheap experience. For example, if you wanted to compete on an elite team, well then you will be paying $1,200 plus tax. I was told it was about $430 per person on the team. Then you've obviously got to account for your travel expenses and hotels, things like that. But let's put that aside for a moment. And the thing that has upset some athletes, particularly those that are returning, is, well, this is the same amount of money they were paying last year for a 3-day event. But now it's just 2 days. Now, of course, we can factor in things like prize money, but if we're being honest, that's something that maybe the minority are really thinking about. The majority are there for the experience. They don't really expect to walk away with prize money at the end of the competition. So if for the majority it is just for the experience, well, now it is a shortened experience. But that being said, when they signed up this year, they would have known it was only a 2-day competition. So do they have any reason to be unhappy about this? Well, maybe not. But then on Saturday, they received an email informing them that only the top 20 individuals and top 10 teams would be going through a cut after the 5th event, meaning only the 20 individuals and 10 teams will be taking on the 6th workout. So now instead of a 3-day competition with 8 events, they are looking at a 2-day competition where the majority will be taking on just 5 events. Add to that the fact that this is only for the elite field and everybody else will be doing all 6 workouts. It's understandable why one athlete told me they felt like they were being punished for being at the elite level. And if we're honest, it's not going to be those super teams of superstar athletes that have sponsors that are probably paying a large portion of their way to get to the competition that are going to get cut and miss out on that final workout. It's more likely the up-and-comers, those that have the fitness to compete at the elite division, but maybe not the recognition or name association that allows them to pay their way just by doing CrossFit. And I actually had an athlete tell me that if they'd known beforehand that it was probably only going to be 5 events, well, they would have saved their money. Now, no doubt Wodapalooza is going to be an incredible experience even for these athletes, and it may well be that after those 5 events, even if they get cut, they're still going to feel that the event was worth the money. But at the same time, I think it's easy to understand why someone might feel disappointed about the situation if they've been there past years and now it feels like they're paying the same but getting much less. It would be like finding an incredible restaurant that prepares your favorite meal, and then when you go back for a special occasion, suddenly the portion sizes have shrunk. You'd be disappointed. And while I don't believe there is any malice or ill intent on the part of Wodapalooza, and this isn't just some desperate cash grab for them, it does raise a question about cuts in general at competitions. Are they something we want to see? At the highest level, we've seen, for example, at the CrossFit Games, cuts being used, and people have said that perhaps this means not all the athletes are doing the full test, or it has affected events after the cuts because there weren't as many people to maybe get between athletes to create a bigger spread on the points. And then when we look to off-season events or your more kind of weekend warrior events, well, when there are cuts, often people that are really just there for the experience, for the fun of doing something with their friends, well, they can feel a little bit let down by the experience, maybe that they didn't get their money's worth. So how do you feel about cuts? Do you agree that these people should feel that maybe they're not getting their money's worth? Or is this just part of the sport, and if people don't want to get cut, they need to get better at fitness? But as for Wodapalooza, I can't wait to see it. It looks incredible. The athletes that are turning up for both the individual and team competition look amazing. So it's going to be a wonderful experience. That being said, I'm sure after the 5th event, when the cuts start to happen, I am going to feel a little bit sad for those athletes that got an even shorter experience than it already was going to be.